There are 3 easy steps in creating your resume link. Let me show you how.
Step 1. Register. Go to www.jobs180.com using any browser and click Register Now. Fill out all the information needed. In choosing your resume link, use your full name so that it looks professional and it's easy to recall by potential employers. For example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz.jobs180.com. Step 2. Create and design. When creating your resume, make sure to complete your personal information and upload your profile picture. One of the highlights of the resume link is the portfolio section. In the portfolio section, you can show off your skills by uploading samples of your work like documents, pictures, videos, and your social media links.
Your resume link also features different themes and you can upload a cover photo. This is a combination of a cover letter and a social network cover photo. Here is an example. You can also download a copy of your resume link and print it. Step 3. Apply for a job. There are many ways to apply with your resume link.
First is browsing the job recommendations in your Jobs 180 dashboard.
If you're qualified, click Submit Resume Link. So what are you waiting for? Dress up your next generation resume, stand out brightly among the competitive job seekers in the market, and win the heart of your future employers using Resume Link.
All right, so good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jobs180.com's Marketing Me Live with ICT-ED Institute of Science and Technology. So today we will be joined by speakers from Jobs180.com, Ernst and Young, and VXI. So before we start, may we invite everybody for the opening prayer, followed by the singing of the national anthem.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him, all
mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
All right. So again, welcome everyone. So my name is Joyce from jobs180.com. I will be your host for today's session, and we are live via Jobs 180 Facebook and Jobs 180 YouTube page. So um please do not hesitate to share this live to your friends kung wala pa po sila rito. Ayan, para sama-sama tayo matuto ngayong umaga. And if you can hit the heart react button, ayan. So please, and of course again, good morning. And to officially start today's session, may we invite Mr. Romel M. Vidal, the school president of ICT-ED, to give us the opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, dear ICT agents. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the first day of our career week. As you approach to the end of your academic journey, we understand that many of you may be feeling with mix of excitement and anxiety about the next chapter of your lives. But fear not, for the purpose of this event is to equip you with the knowledge and tools necessary to make informed decisions about your future career paths. With the help of our partner jobs180.com, an online job placement and recruitment platform, we hope to provide you with valuable insights on the current job market and skills and qualities that employers are looking for in their candidates. Throughout this week, we will have various activities and sessions that will allow you to explore different career options and learn from industry experts. Today, we kick off with a webinar hosted by Jobs 180. This will give you the opportunity to hear from professionals in the field and gain valuable insights on how to prepare for your future careers. I encourage you to actively participate in all the activities today and take advantage of the resources that will be provided to you. Remember that choices you make today will have a significant impact on your future, and we want to make sure that you are well equipped to make the best decisions. Once again, to the Career Week, welcome to the Career Week of ICT-ED Institute of Science and Technology, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sir Romel. Thank you so much for gracing the event, and of course for and collaborating with Jobs 180. We hope that this won't be the last, since this is the first career webinar po with ICT Ed. So thank you so much, Sir Rodel. Thank you so much po. Okay, so here's our schedule for today. So we have online applications using the resume link. So next we have communication skills, which will be discussed by Ernst and Young, and we have top skills employers look for when hiring by VXI. So again, shout out to everyone who's here now. So please comment your name, your year, and your course. So if you're here po, again, please comment your name, your year, and your course. And as we go along, please type in your questions so we can read it later. Please wag po kayong mahiyang magtanong. This is your chance to ask. And so we have three speakers for today's session. So nasa inyo po yung card. So if you'd like to ask po the speaker, so before you graduate. Ayan. So at least meron tayong mga speakers na pwedeng i-ask. Ayan, no? So kung ano yung mga bagay na curious kayo about. So, kilalanin na po natin ang ating unang speaker. So, for our first topic, which is online applications using Resume Link, our first speaker has 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, business development, customer service, operations, business process, and human resources. As a trusted resource speaker, he has done over 1,000 plus career development seminars in more than 400 plus colleges and universities nationwide. So the managing director from jobs180.com, Mr. Kim Chua. So Sir Kim, take it away.
Hey everyone, good day to all of you. My name is Kim Chua. Don't forget the wa, baka Kim Chu lang maalala nyo. And I'm here to share to you about the most secure tool for job application. This is how you can market yourself more effectively and the different ways to do that. Okay, so let me start. Now, when you apply, you probably have a checklist if you're using the right tool. So just go along with me if you have the right, if you have the same checklist that I have. So ito yung mga things na like kong tinatandaan, no? Will my tool or will the thing that I'll be using help me to stand out? That's the first item that is very important for me. Kailangan mag-stand out ako kasi dami-dami kong kasabayan kalaban sa pag-apply. Another thing in my checklist is that, do I have more than one file? Because oftentimes I have a lot of files. May academic records, may mga government IDs, ang dami mga kailangan hingiin ng mga companies. So I'd like to put them all in one file. And this tool helps me to do that. Okay? Another thing that this tool can do is that it allows me to make the process more efficient. Mas napapabilis yung pag-apply. No? Hindi na napapatagal yung pabalik-balik. So, mas mabilis din syempre tayo maka-move forward. Diba? And another thing that this tool can do is that wala tong bayad. Baka mukha lang akong salesman pero libre po ito. Okay? So this tool is absolutely for free. The most important in my checklist is that this tool, okay, makes my information secured. And I think this is the most important question. Do you want your information to be secured? I hope your answer is yes. Okay? And so with that, let me show you ano tong tool na ito. This tool is called ResumeLink. ResumeLink, by definition, is the most secured tool for job application. Okay? This is a personalized URL. It is a link that anyone can open online anytime, provided that they know the link. So let me use an example. If you are John Santos, just in case lang, your name is John Santos, your resume link would look something like johnsantos.jobs180.com. Ganun lang kasimple. So how do you make one? Okay, how do you make one? Now, the first step is for you to register. This is absolutely for free. Wala itong bayad. Okay? So what do? You go to www.jobs180.com and that is where you now register. Okay? As you register, you just simply fill out the information. These are the basic information. You have the account details, you have your personal information, you have your education background, and just in case you have your work experience, whether it's OJT or it's part-time job or whatever yung work experience na yan, then you proceed to that work experience page. Pero pag wala, hanggang dyan na lang tayo sa my education information. Okay? After doing so, you now start to create your resume link. So ano ba ang basihan ng resume link? Kadalasan, ang resume link natin, we base it on our name. We base it on our unique name. Okay, so as an example, if you're John Santos, then you say johnsantos.jobs180.com. Now, what about during scenarios where you create your resume link tapos may nauna sa inyo? May ibang John Santos, may kapangalan ka, no, nauna sa inyo. Ano mangyayari? Magkakaroon na red na box, sasabihin niya, this name has already been taken. Na okay, malungkot pag taken na. Okay lang, maging creative lang kayo ng konti. Pwede mo balik na rin. Pwede mo sabihin Santos John. Okay, you can also say Santos J. O kaya J Santos. O kaya JS, di ba? Or SJ. Depende sa link na gusto mo gawin. Basta importante, wala kang kapareho kahit kayo may kapangalan. Now, another thing I'd like to emphasize here, wag po kayong OA. Pag gumawa kayo ng resume link, huwag mo gagawin tipong nakalagay, cutie pie, lover boy, Barbie doll, di ba? Because it doesn't sound professional. Imagine going to a company and the HR will ask you, do you have a resume? Tapos sasabihin mo sa kanya, meron po, ang resume ko ay eljablo.jobsoned.com. Di ba? Baka matakot yung HR sa inyo. So I don't recommend that you do something like that. Just stick to your name. Whatever your name is, it will sound professional. Okay? Now, in creating a resume link, you have to use a valid email. Emails like Yahoo, Gmail, Rocketmail, any email, basta nabubuksan nyo, wag na wag ka lang gagamit ng facebook.com na email. Okay? Do not use something like, example lang patrick@facebook.com na email. Do not use patricia@facebook.com na email. Okay? In short, do not use @facebook.com na email. Because if you use @facebook.com, you will no longer be able to receive notifications being sent to you by the companies as well as jobs180.com. Okay? So use something that you can open. Why is it important for you to open your email? Because you have to verify your account. Okay? Remember, pag nag-verify, yan ang ebidensya na ikaw nag-register talaga. Yan ang proof. Diba? And at the same time, if you verify your account, then you'll be receiving notifications from the companies as well as Jobs on 80. If you do not verify your account, hindi nyo na po marireceive yung mga notification ng mga companies. So, sayang naman. Diba? Might as well verify your account first. Okay? Now, you're done with the first step. After you verify. So, ano na ang second step? Ang second step is the most logical of all the steps. You have to complete all the information. Very logical. Sino sa inyo mag-apply sa mga kumpanya, bungi-bungi detalye? Sino sa inyo magbibigay ng resume sa mga HR tapos kulang-kulang details nyo? I don't think you'll do that because you're just wasting your time. Instead, kumpletuhin yung information nyo bago kayo mag-submit dun sa mga companies. Okay? So, step 2, complete the information. And how do you do that? Punta kayo ulit dun sa website, www.jobs180.com, and this time, you don't need to register again kasi may account ka na eh. What you need to do is you have to log in. Okay? Now, as you log in, you start to put your registered email or your resume link and your password na ikaw lang may alam. Okay? Ganun lang siya kasimple. Now, once you're inside your account, you start to fill in the blanks. Ganun lang kasimple. Fill in the blanks. So, the things that you see here, yung mga contents, napakasimple lang. Yung mga personal details nyo, lagay mo dyan. Diba? All the information na sa tingin nyo relevant, you put it there. Now, I have some emphasis lang on items na madalas na miss out ito ng mga aplikante. Ano yung mga yon? Sa contact information, you have to put here all the possible ways na pwede kang makontak ng isang HR. Kagaya ng social media handles nyo. Ba't ko nasabi yan? Because in reality is, pag tinatawagan kayo ng mga HR, madalas hindi naman ina-answer eh. Lalo na pag hindi nyo kilala, pag nag-ring yung phone nyo, hala, sino kaya ito? Diba, hindi mo kilala. Ano gagawin? Hahayaan mo na lang. Diba? Antayin mo kung may message sa inyo. Eh, paano kung yung HR hindi naman hindi masipag mag-message? Masipag lang siya magtawag. That's why I recommend you put here all the possible means na pwede ka makontak. Kagaya ng social media nyo. Put your Facebook there, yung mga messenger nyo, mga Twitter nyo, iba pang mga paraan, social media handles para mabilis kayo ma-reach out. Diba? Message na lang. Are you available Thursday, 10 a.m., so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? Diba? So lahat ng paraan, lagay mo dyan. What else do you put here? You also put here yung inyong mga work options. Sa work options naman, you just choose lang, parang yes or no lang yan, parang switch, no? Kung ano yung mga options na gusto ninyo, no? Willing to work night shift, willing to relocate, looking for OJT, you can also put it here. Okay? And then in terms of education, obvious naman, yung alma mater nyo, lagay nyo dito. Diba? Yung mga pampakapal ng resume, sa seminars attended, kahit magkopyahan pa kayo ng mga classmates mo, okay lang. Basta lang make sure, alam nyo na pag-usapan doon sa seminar na yon. Pagdating sa certification, ganun din yan. Walang limit sa space yan. Achievements, recommend ko dito is you don't only put yung mga achievement nyo inside the school. Okay? Kasi hindi naman lahat tayo academically inclined. Some of us are not very active sa school, pero active tayo sa mga social-civic organization. Diba? So, even if it's outside of the school, you can also put it there. As long as you think it is an achievement, you put it there. Okay? Now, in terms of skills and languages, isa-isahin ko lang yan ha. Sa skills, do not limit your skills dyan lang sa course nyo. Hindi perkat education ng course mo, ang ibig sabihin, ang skills na alam mo lang ay magturo. Hindi perkat accounting ang course mo, ang alam mo lang gawin or ang skills mo ay mag-debit, credit at mag-balance sheet. Diba? So, marami kang alam na iba pang mga skills na kahit walang connect sa course, you can also put it here. Sample, photography, diba? Videography, diba? And all the other things, calligraphy, pwede mo ilagay dyan. Okay? When it comes to languages, I'm sure alam nyo, 2 lengguwahe na at the minimum. You know English and you know Filipino. If you know local dialect, to be specific, lagay mo Tagalog, Sabacano, Bisaya, Kapampangan, 'di ba? Ilonggo, wala naman limit sa space eh. 'Di ba? If you know foreign languages, put it there. Chinese, Japanese, French, Vietnamese, kung ano man 'yan, ilagay nyo. Because what you're doing is you're trying to market yourself more effectively to the prospective company. Now, when it comes to references, sigurado naman ako yung mga references nyo, kilala nyo. Ang tanong lang dyan, kayo ba kilala nila? Kasi madalas pag tinatawagan namin yung mga references nyo, hindi kayo maalala. Yung pinakamalupit dyan, hindi talaga kayo kilala. Okay, so please advise yung mga references nyo na ginawa nyo silang reference para at least they know what to tell about you. Okay? Now, at this point, I'd like to highlight yung mga things that you don't find in a traditional resume. Ano yung mga yan? Diba? Ito yung mga yun. Let me start with the portfolio section. The portfolio section is where you now upload evidence of your skills. And I think with this day and age, dito pumapasok yung efficiency, no, ng ating application sa mga companies. Because oftentimes, when we apply to companies, marami mga hinihingi, mga pre-employment requirements. They will ask for mga documents, mga proof that is showing na yun talaga yung mga skills nyo. So, kung ano man meron yung mga documents, you can now take a picture, you can scan them, and you can upload it here. Example, government IDs. Diba? Meron ka mga transcripts, academic records. Diba? You can put that there. Okay? Kung meron mga medical clearance na kailangan, ganun din. Hindi na kailangan magpabalik-balik sa company. Oh, ayos ba? Oh, eto pa. Diba? But wait, there's more. Ito na yun. Etong isa pang gusto ko i-recommend sa inyo, yung tinatawag natin selfie video. Nowadays, I think, it is not very difficult to create a selfie video. Diba? Ito may TikTok nga kayo eh. Diba? Alam mo naman paano gumawa ng selfie video. So I don't need to teach you how to create a selfie video. What I need to share to you na lang is yung anong kailangan sabihin pagka gumawa ka ng selfie video. Okay, this time, what I recommend is you say something interesting about yourself. Okay? So, you pretend that you're being interviewed by the HR. Diba? Ano yung matiyatanong sa atin? Why should we hire you? Diba? Tell me something about yourself. Why should we consider you among all the other applicants? O, di ba? Ang kagandahan ngayon is you create that video for about 1 minute or less. Hindi kailangan sobrang haba, no? Mga 1 minute lang or less. Pero ang maganda rito is na-evaluate na nung HR yung inyong communication skills. If you can speak in English, then I recommend you speak in straight English. But if you cannot, it's okay as long as you're able to show your personality. You can also showcase here yung mga hard skills nyo. Ano yung mga hard skills? Kagaya ng mga video na panood ko dati, pinakita nila how to use a soldering iron, how to properly handle a welding machine, diba? How to fold table napkins. O, ganun, diba? So, depende ko ano yung mga skills na alam mo at depende ko ano yung nasa field mo rin, diba? Na napag-aralan, diba? So, kung gusto mo magpakita ka paano mag-balance sheet, pwede rin. O, diba? Again, it really depends on what you wanted to show dun sa HR. Ang point is, you don't need to travel back and forth para lang ipakita on the spot dun sa HR yung inyong hard skills. And, most importantly, hindi na kailangan magkaroon ng maraming aberya, maraming storbo. Diba? Sometimes, when we try to contact you for the phone interview, maingay yung background, hindi marinig. Diba? Mahina signal, maingay, ano nangyari, nasa biyahe, diba? Or sometimes hindi magtugma yung schedule. At least with that selfie video, it makes the process now more efficient. Now, another good thing pa with the ResumeLink is that you also upload here your profile picture. When it comes to profile picture, you don't need to go to the studio para magpa-picture. Huwag ka na gumastos. Ang importante lang dyan, tumingin ka sa camera, okay, with plain background, at of course, magbihis ka naman ng maayos, diba? And then, you're good to go. Huwag mo gagawin yung mga nasa right side ng screen niyo. Those samples that I'm showing you, it doesn't look professional. Imagine, di ba, yung mga selfie, mga nilagay ng avatar, yan, huwag nyo gawin yan. Okay? Huwag nyo gawin yan. It doesn't look nice, doesn't look professional. Okay? Now, another good thing pa with the ResumeLink is that meron tayong tinatawag na cover photo. Ayan, pasintabi sa matatamaan. May iba sa inyo nakikinig ngayon, hindi naman kayo gifted with writing skills. Some of us are having a difficult time expressing our thoughts and feelings into words. So ano pwede mo gawin? You can now use those pictures to represent your personality or to showcase yung inyong skills. Example, look at the one on the left, yung nasa baba. Ano kaya siya? Sabi ni iba, sir, ophthalmologist, optometrist, or eye expert. Yung nasa kanan, yung nasa taas, ano kaya siya? Sabi ni iba, sir, para siyang admin or clerical work. Or maybe makalat kasi tingnan mo yung lamesa ang kalat-kalat. O, di ba? Again, it depends on the interpretation of the person looking at it. This is an example of someone into HR or maybe into psychology. And this one is an example, it's a very good example by the way, of someone who wanted to say that there is no shortcut to success. Hindi po yan miyembro na Akit Bahay Gang. Okay? Ang gusto niya sabihin, you will be able to reach yung goal mo by taking one step at a time. Oh, di ba? You get what I'm saying now. So I'm showing you good examples para you can draw inspiration from. And I will also show you not so good examples. Ito yung wag niyong gagayahin. Huwag kayong magpapaka-misteryoso. Okay? Maglagay ka ng picture mo dyan. Lalaki man, babae in between, okay lang. Ilagay mo dyan. Member man tayo ng LGBTQ+, okay lang. You put it there. At least alam ng HR who to expect. A lot of times, yung mga pangalan kasi very interchangeable nowadays. Ako mismo, guilty ako dyan. My name is Kim. A lot of people think, babae ako. Di ba? Pag iba nababasa kong mga resume, ano nakalagay sa resume link nila? Chris, nakalagay George, Alex, Sam, Nick, o diba? Joey. I would assume lalaki. Yun pala, babae. O diba? So that's why you better make sure you put your picture there. And wag naman pugot yung ulo nyo pag nilagay ng picture. Dapat kompleto. Okay? Never leave this blank because if you leave this blank, it will not catch the HR's attention. Trust me. Kung ikaw ang HR, wala ka namang ibang makita dyan, malamang mangyayari dito, next applicant na. Okay? And then if you want to catch the HR's attention, do not create something like this. This is just my opinion. I don't think this looks professional kasi ang dating parang tamad, parang happy-go-lucky, no? Parang chill-chill, walang pakialam sa buhay. Again, that is just my interpretation. Okay? So I showed you the good and not so good examples para you'll be guided. Now you can just play along later on kung anong sa tingin nyo mas bagay sa inyong background or sa inyong sa gusto niyo ipakita sa personality niyo. Okay? Now let's examine a very good example. Look at this person, itong iExpert. Bakit maganda itong example ng kanyang resume link? Because all the information you're seeing here, kompleto na. 'Di ba? Hindi ka na magpabalik-balik eh. Kung ikaw yung HR, everything that you need to ask or you want to know about the applicant, you already find it here. If you're the applicant, you might as well put everything there para wag mo na antayin pa yung time na hihingin pa sa ng HR yung mga documents yan. Baka hindi na mangyari yun. Baka may ibang aplikante na mas assertive, nilagay lahat ng mga information na i-process na siya kaagad. Diba? Now, at this point, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, sir, okay nga tong resume link. Kaso lang, baka naman yung information ko nakakalat na sa buong mundo. Baka naman nakalantad na sa buong internet. Ang sagot ay, hindi. Kaya nga tinawag na the most secure tool for your job application. Diba? Bakit? Because you control your privacy settings. Ikaw mismo, as an account user or as a resume link owner, ikaw ang may control ng privacy settings mo. And how will that happen? When you log into your dashboard, as you can see in my screen, when you log into your dashboard, you will find the resume link settings. Pagpunta mo sa settings, mapuntahan mo yung privacy settings at dun ka mamili ngayon ng information you want to show or hide in public. So let me use an example. If you don't want to show your birthday, what do? You turn it off. You don't want to show your references, you turn it off. You don't want to show your address, what do? Turn it off. Diba? So yung mga information na in-off mo, hindi lalabas sa public. Now, if ever lang you decide to change your mind, ang maganda dito sa resume link, updated yan, real time. As in real time. So 5 minutes later, you want to show your birthday, turn it on. What happens? Lahat ng mayroong alam ng resume link mo, alam na niya yung birthday mo. Diba? If 2 days later, you want to show your address, you turn it on, you save your profile, lahat ng may alam ng resume link mo, alam na rin yung inyong address. You get what I'm saying? Diba? So, depende na sa inyo kung ano gusto mo yung on or i-off. If you want to turn off everything, then okay lang. You can just turn off the button. Enable public resume link, off. Wala nang lalabas sa public. Kahit na anong information. Okay? So, yan ang re-remind ko sa inyo. This, the second step is for you to complete the information. And in doing so, please make sure that your profile is interesting, diba? Yung information mo kompleto at updated ang details nyo para mabilis kayo makontak ng mga HR. Now, we go to the last step. Pangatlo na, last step na to. The last step is for you to submit. Now, how will you submit your resume link to those companies? You might be thinking you want to explore opportunities outside of the Philippines. Maybe you want to join some job fairs later on. You want to apply online. You want to, marami, walk-ins, diba? Depende kung ano kasi bumabalik na yung face-to-face ngayon. So, lahat ng mga ipapakita ko sa inyo, lahat ito, practical application. Lahat yan, makaka-relate kayo. Ano yung first one? The first one is you go online. Of course. Diba? Yan ang fastest way. You just connect via your phone, via kung ano man gadget mo, go to jobs.it.com, search for companies. And by the way, speaking of search, you can only search for company, tatlo lang pwede mo i-search ha. Search for company name, position title, and location. Doon sa search bar, hindi mo pwede ma-search ang resume link. So example lang, ikaw si John Santos, okay, ikaw si, ako na lang, Kim, halimbawa lang, subukan mo pumunta sa jobs.it.com, doon sa search bar, type mo doon Kim. Tingnan mo kung may lumabas. Malamang sa malamang, walang lalabas. Unless may company name, position title, or location na may word na Kim. Other than that, walang lalabas dyan. Kasi hindi siya searchable. So, the only time a company would be able to know your information is if and when you give your exact resume link to that company. So, ikaw may control. Ayos? So, tuloy natin. Okay, tuloy natin. So, if you're going to search for companies, what do? Just go to the website of jobs.it.com, search for companies. Kung may lumabas, edi meron. Pag walang lumabas, edi wala. Diba? Ganun lang yan. Huwag natin pilitin magkaroon ng something kung wala talaga. Diba? Okay, so ano gagawin? Tingnan mo yung mga companies. Kung meron kang type, edi gawin nyo, check nyo yung opportunities. After that, you now submit your information to that company. Okay, and when you submit your information to the company, it will ask for your profile, for your resume link and password. So ikaw lang bibigay ng consent dun sa company. Okay? Now, another option is for you to send resumes via email. Now, there's nothing wrong in sending resumes through email. Ang tanong dito is, how are you sending your resumes through email? Do you do it like this? Do you say, "Dear HR manager, I'd like to apply for the following position. This is my resume." Tapos mag-attach ka ng Word file, PDF file, or whatever file you have. If you're doing those attachments pa, ang tawag dyan, traditional, pampabagal, makaluma. Hindi ko sinabing mali. Ang sabi ko lang, traditional, pampabagal, makaluma. Bakit? Hindi mo kailangan mag-attach anything anymore. If you're going to write an email and send your resume, just simply type your resume link there. "Dear HR manager, I would like to apply for the following position. This is my resume. In this example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz, jobs180.com. Send. Tapos na. Ganun lang kabilis. Diba? Whatever changes you need to do, you put it inside your resume link. You don't have to keep on sending another attachment. Paano kung imagine mo na lang, nag-attach ka ng Word file. Diba? Ng PDF file. Tapos nagpalit ka ng address, nagpalit ka ng phone number. Ano gagawin mo? Email mo na may HR. "Dear HR manager, I'm sending you my updated resume." Ganun ba? Paano kung 2 months later, lumipat ka ng bahay, iba na address mo, send ka ulit ng bagong resume? "Dear HR manager, I'm sending you my updated, most recent resume." I don't think you'll do that. Kasi kung ganun ang ginagawa mo, sayang sa oras siya, nakakapagod sa part mo, lalong-lalo naman sa part ng HR, mas nakakapagod to keep track kung saan dyan yung pinaka-updated na attachment or pinaka-updated na resume ng aplikante. And this time around, if you have your resume link, all you need to do is just update your resume link at lahat na may alam ng resume link mo, makikita nila yung pinaka real-time update ng profile or information. Ayos ba? Ayos ba? Sige, another one. For those who wanted to use a hard copy, gusto mo talaga may hard copy ka when you apply to those companies, you want to give something, then this is also possible. What do? You go to your dashboard inside your job seeker account, then you can print your resume link. Mamili ka lang, 1 column or 2 column version. Either way, the system will try to compress everything into 1 page. O diba? Maginhawa sa buhay. So kung gusto mo talaga mag-apply sa mga kumpanya, hindi mo na kailangan mag-prepare ng maraming mga pages. Minsan, diba, yung mga aplikante, mga 2-3 pages ang isang set ng resume. Palibasa, yung font size 45. Kaya umaabot ng 2-3 pages. O diba? Pero this time, the system will try to compress everything na into 1 page. Just in case you really want to have a hard copy. O diba? Tipid. Okay? Another thing pa for me to encourage you to do is you use resume link cards. Resume link cards. Ano tong resume link card? Kung sa mga nagtatrabaho na, ang tawag namin business card. Sa mga nag-a-apply, tawag dyan, resume link card. So in one piece of paper, whether short bond or long bond paper, you can now design it your own way. You can design it, depende kung ano ang gusto mo, pagiging creativity mo. Ikaw bahala. You can make 10, 20 sets of cards. Depende sa laki or liit. Diba? Kasi laki ng index card or kasi liit lang ng mga normal business cards natin. Diba? So, depende. So, maybe in one long bond paper, you can make 10, 20 sets of cards na. And so, after you have it printed out, pwede ka na ngayon maggupit-gupit. Gupit-gupit na lang. Diba? 10 or 20, bawat kumpanya, you can now start to give that as a hard copy. Hard copy pa rin naman yan eh. But this time, why am I encouraging you to use resume link cards instead of the traditional long bond or short bond paper? Bakit? Una-una, tipid. Diba? Because of course, right now, eto, tipid. Kasi if you're going to apply to 20 companies, you don't need to print 20 sets of long bond papers. You just need to print 1 long bond paper and cut 20 small pieces of resume link cards. O, diba? That's for the cost side. Tipid na. Pangalawa, at mas importante, security of information. Diba? You want to have peace of mind. Paano ko nasabi yan? Kapag ikaw yung nagbigay sa isang kumpanya ng long bond paper or short bond paper, example lang, no? It's a traditional resume. And for some reason, nilipad ng hangin. Okay? Nilipad ng hangin. Hindi mo kasalanan. Kasalanan ng hangin eh. Diba? May nakapulot na stranger. All your information, alam na nung stranger. Tama? And you cannot deny it because you know what I'm saying is true. Diba? Hindi mo kilala pero alam niya yung details mo. Now, using your resume link card, same scenario. Nagbigay ka ng resume link card sa company, nilipad ng hangin ngayon. May na stranger na nakapulot, okay lang. Bakit? Kampante ka. Kasi yung resume link, ikaw may control ng privacy settings mo. That's why, in your resume link card, what I recommend, you just simply put your name and your resume link. Dalawa lang. That's it. If you want to put your mobile number, it's okay. It's up to you. You can put it there. Diba? Pero ang point ko is, resume link, pwede na siya makita ng mga HR or mga companies na bibigyan mo. Diba? So you have peace of mind now. Okay? So there's a lot of advantages using resume links. In fact, doon pa lang sa privacy portion, panalong-panalo ka na. Ikaw ang may control ng privacy settings mo real time. Pagdating sa speed of hire, it becomes faster and more efficient because whatever you want to show the HR, you just attach it there. Whatever the HR needs from you, they just ask from you. Diba? You take a picture, you scan them, upload it there, and later on, pag okay na, you now turn off yung privacy settings mo. Diba? Or you can remove them in the attachments. Diba? Cost efficient, definitely wala tong gastos, tipid. Diba? If you're thinking, ay sir, paano po yung internet, kailangan ng pang-load? Pwede ka maging resourceful. Connect lang tayo sa mga libreng wifi. O, diba? And then pagdating sa flexibility, if you really want to have it printed out, yung inyong resume, you also have the option to print it out. That's like how I showed it to you, 1 column or 2 column version. Either way, it's really up to you. Pero ang point ko is, ResumeLink na lahat yan. Okay? And you can use this to any platform, whatever platform you want to share it to. You want to share it sa mga messenger nyo, you want to share it sa email, sa Viber, sa text, di ba? Gusto mo, kaya ko bahala. Di ba? Gusto mo, sulat mo sa papel, tapos gawa ka ng airplane, palipad mo, di ba? May nakakuha, alam niya yung resume link mo. Ikaw bahala. Okay? Ikaw may control kung sino ang gusto mo bigyan. Okay? You don't have to use your USBs anymore. You don't have to save it sa hard drive. Baka mawala pa yung USB nyo. Delikado. Diba? Wag na. Baka kung ano pa makita ng mga nakakapulot ng mga USB na yan. Okay? So you don't need to worry about compatibility as well because this is compatible to any platform. If you're using Android, you're using Safari, kung ano magamit mo, pwede yan sa kahit anong version. Okay? And so, just to promote lang, if you want to be part of our team, we're also hiring. Mismo sa jobs180.com, we're hiring for several opportunities, several vacancies yan. Check out na lang yung aming jobs180.com/jobs180 na page. Okay? And by the grace of God, shout out lang ako, right now we have more than 400 plus colleges and university partners nationwide from north all the way to the south of the Philippines. Thank you, Lord. O, diba? Ang kinalat namin, hindi lang virus. Biro lang. Kinalat namin ResumeLink. Yan ang kinalat natin. So, a lot of schools now, including your alma mater, are now using the ResumeLink. So, I hope it doesn't stop here. No? You become a blessing to others as well. If you have friends, you have yung mga relatives mo, na sa tingin mo kailangan nitong tool na ito, you can share it to them. Wala namang bayad eh. Libre naman yan. Okay? And so, as we close this portion, I'd like to discuss some of the frequently asked questions. Baka ito yung mga agam nyo or ito yung mga questions na gusto nyo tanungin. Sagutin ko na muna. Okay? Unang tanong, can I give my resume links to companies who do not know about jobs180.com? The answer is absolutely yes. Basta alam nila eksaktong link mo at ikaw may control, sino bibigyan mo nun. Ikaw lang ang magbibigay. Diba? So, ikaw lang may alam sino binigyan mo. Okay? Now, second question, is it the same as other job platform kagaya ng JobStreet, LinkedIn, or any other job site? The answer is no. May dalawang pagkakaiba. And let me use an example here. Let me do a shout out to JobStreet, no? Because I think you guys know what JobStreet is. So, shout out lang to them sa mga nasa JobStreet. If you're using JobStreet na resume, you can only apply to companies who are using JobStreet. If you're applying to a company who is not using JobStreet, you cannot use your JobStreet resume anymore. Pero pag gamit mo yung resume link mo, pwede mo yung gamitin kahit na saan, kahit na kanino, kahit na anong platform. Diba? Basta alam ng HR yung eksaktong link mo at ikaw magbibigay nun. That's the first difference. Second difference, if you have already submitted your JobStreet resume to an HR, you cannot change anything anymore. Well, you can on your end, but it will not be reflected on the HR. Hindi siya magiging real-time update. Comparing it to resume link ni Jobs180, you can update it real-time. 2 days later, 5 minutes later, 6 weeks later, ikaw bahala. Anytime nag-update ka ng information, lahat na in-update mo, dagdag bawas, will be reflected real-time across all na may alam ng resume link mo. Okay? So those are the two major differences. Now, pagdating sa pangatlong question, yan ang pinaka-simpleng tanong. Can I keep my information secured? I hope by this time na-convince ko na kayo na ito na ang pinaka-secured na job application platform. Okay? So, use your resume link. Number 4 question, I think is the most important question. How often should you update your resume link? The answer is every time. Every time na meron kang babaguhin. Okay? Every time na meron kang babaguhin. Lalong-lalo na yung contact details mo. Kasi imagine, binago mo lahat. Binago mo yung work experience mo, nagkaroon ng awards, nagkaroon ng achievement, hindi ka naman makontakt ng HR. Wala rin, di ba? Sayang din. That's why you have to update yung contact details nyo. Okay? And the last question is just a trivia. Trivia lang, palaisipan. Why is this called jobs180.com? This is called jobs180.com because we want to turn your life around 180 degrees. And in case you're wondering, no, you wanted to raise a concern, bakit hindi po 360? Kasi pag 360 degrees, you only go back to where you started. Ikot ka lang na ikot, wala kang pupuntahan. 'Di ba? Bumabalik. O, di ba? Char-char lang yan. Okay? So, anyways, again, kung meron pa kayo ibang questions, just in case you have questions, okay, you may send those questions here through our website, www.jobs180.com. You can also email us or email me here sa info@jobs180.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, pati na rin sa TikTok. Okay? So, check us out on all our social media platform. Okay? Again, my name is Kim Chua. Don't forget the wa. Okay? Isang magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, Sir Kim. Hope you can hear me po. Ayan. All right. So Sir Kim's with us po for the Q&A. So to our audience, ICT-ED. So if you have questions regarding the topic, the floor is now open for questions. So please post your questions in the comment section. And if nahihiya naman po kayo, ayan, you can ask Sir Romel po. Pwede naman pong i-relay na lang yung question sa atin. So and so wag po kayo may magtanong. This is your chance to ask. So while waiting for questions for Kim, so would like to ask po yung mga previous questions natin from the previous seminar, and I hope and I think makaka-relate naman po yung mga graduating students or yung audience natin, since same audience po graduating from different school nga lang po. So the first question is, what are the common mistakes po in doing resumes po for fresh graduates?
Okay, so the common mistakes of mga fresh graduates in submitting their resumes or resume links for this example is kulang-kulang yung information. Yan ang isa sa pinaka wag niyong gagawin, no? When you submit your information, when you submit your resume tapos kulang-kulang details niyo, you're just really wasting your time, no? Sayang eh. So you have to put all the information there. You have to make it attractive, and by making it attractive, hindi naman kailangan mag-imbento ng information. And that's a second item na gusto ko sabihin. Huwag mag-imbento. Okay, lagay mo yung totoong information lang, 'di ba? Kung talagang wala ka na mailagay, edi yun na talaga yun. 'Di ba? Pero kung kaya mo pa maglagay ng more information about your experiences, not just for work related but also for other academic organizations or iba pang mga social civic details or ginawa ninyo, no, sa involvement mo sa community, you can also put it there. Kasi importante, totoong information, and then make it attractive. Ayan, those are the two things that I want you to do when you submit your information to the companies. Yan po. Okay? Yan.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Kim. So next question po is, we all know daw po that the resume link is free. So we would like to know po if ang access is lifetime.
Yes, perpetual. Kung sabi nga nila, kung di ka naniniwala sa forever, dito may forever. Yung resume link ninyo, pag gumawa kayo niyan, kahit na later on, nag-asawa na kayo, may business na kayo, nagkaroon na kayo ng mga pamilya, or let's say, nag-retire na kayo, no? Eventually, mag-retire din kayo pag tagal-tagal. Ano mangyayari? Yung resume link, yun pa rin yun. So, ang maganda is you just have to turn it on or turn it off. Depende na lang kung kailan nyo gusto gamitin. If you want to turn it on the entire time, it's okay. You'll be getting a lot of notifications, no, invitations from different companies as well as Jobs on 80. Now, kung gusto mo naman na hindi kayo masyado iniistorbo kasi you're getting a lot of mga notification, di ba? So, pwede mo turn off muna. Diba? Later on, pagka ano ka na ulit na you're in the middle of your career, tapos gusto mo mag-explore, edi turn on mo. And then, yun na, pwede ka na ulit maka-receive ng mga details na yun. Ayan, yan po. So,
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Kim. So next
flexibility.
question.
Sige po.
Yes. So talking about security, so ayan, how can a candidate ensure the privacy and security of their personal information when sharing a resume link with potential employers?
How to guarantee yung security na information? Unang-una, we design it with the security in its core. No? So that means ikaw as a job seeker or as a user of your account, you have full control over your information. Earlier, if you missed out my talk, you can also watch it sa replay or you can check it out sa Facebook or sa YouTube. Pero yung gusto ko i-highlight doon is when you go to your privacy settings under your jobs, yung dashboard, job seeker dashboard nyo, you can choose the information that you want to show or hide in public. So kayo may control niyan. At ang maganda pa, real-time update. No, yun yung pinaka best part. Kasi when you have submitted your resume link today, and then you decided, ay may kulang pa. Diba? Kailangan pa pala dagdagin itong information na to. Yan, you can always edit it and save the profile. Save your account. And then all the profile that you have put in, ma-update na siya. Diba? Or baliktad. Let's say, nag-submit ka na information, tapos na-realize mo, ay, nako, medyo parang ano yata, may mali yata sa spelling. O yan, example na, or mali yata grammar ko, parang mas maganda yata kung ito sasabihin ko. Ayan, so you edit it. And the moment you save your information, yung account mo, yung profile mo, then what will be reflected real time, is in immediately, real time, sa lahat ng merong resume link mo, yung pinaka-updated yung information. So that for me is a very flexible feature, no, yung pagiging updated siya real time. Kasi dagdag bawas ikaw may control niyan. Yun, in terms of security, ikaw rin may control kung ano gusto mo ilabas or itago sa public. So it's really up to you. Yeah? Yan. Mm.
Thank you, sir. So next question is, what are the misconceptions or common misconceptions in creating resume?
Common misconception is may mga sinasabi kasi that if they are coming from certain schools, parang sila mas una pinapansin. Yan yun, no? Syempre, hindi na ako magbabanggit ng mga school na yan kasi ayoko naman mag-stereotype, no, kung ano yung school na yun. Kasi may ibang mga companies, may mga preferred schools, sabi nila. No? Maybe in reality, yes, kung directive ito ng mga bossing nila, sabi ng boss nila, kailangan, gusto ko sa ganitong school ka, no, mag-prioritize mag-hire. Syempre, susunod lang din yung HR. Diba? Ngayon, pag sinabi nung bossing nila na we will only hire people from that school, ay di lalo na masusunod talaga sila kasi yun ang mandato, di ba? Ngayon, kung wala naman ganong klaseng directive from the company, then I think HR will always look at the skills. Yan yung una-una na titignan. So yan yung isa sa mga misconception, no? Madalas pag sinabing, pag dito hindi ako galing sa school na to, parang hirap makaharap ng trabaho. Hindi totoo yan. No, it's really about your skills. Now, another misconception for me is kung fresh graduate daw, hindi ka dehado ka daw, no? Mas lamang kung meron ka na raw experience. Alam mo, para sa akin, depende on which position you're applying for or you're trying to fill pala as an HR. Kasi kung HR ka, may mga certain position, kailangan mo talaga na experience. Di given na yun. Given the fact na kailangan mo na experience, lamang talaga experience compared mo sa fresh grad. Pero kung all else is equal, let's say wala namang kailangan fresh experience doon sa position na yun, I think mas lamang pa nga ang fresh grad compared to other people with the tenure na, no, yung matagal na sa industry or marami na experience. Depende, no, depende on ano yung position. Pero yun yung mga common misconception for me, no, narinig ko sa mga aplikante. Ayan po.
Alright, thanks, sir. Parang recently din, sir, kasi may viral podcast na talking about coming from top 5 schools. Ayan,
Schools.
so,
Ah.
yes, coming from top 5 schools. Tapos may mga commenters doon talking about not passing the interview because of hindi nga galing sa top 5. So, ang dami experiences ng mga applicants. Hindi nga sila nakukuha because may conceptions na pag hindi ka galing sa top 5. So, ano pa lang, initial interview pa lang, hindi ka napasok. Ayan.
Tanggal
So,
na. Oo. Tama.
ganyan. So, nakarelate. Ayan. So,
Okay, ano yan? Yeah, sige, sorry. May question ka about that? Or wala? Comment lang yun.
wala naman, sir. Wala naman, sir.
Comment lang. Oo nga.
Mm. Ayan.
Huwag kayo
So,
maniwala sa ganun. Fake news yan. Fake news yan.
alright. So, another question, sir, is what is more attractive in resumes? Is it the soft skills or the hard skills?
Hard skills and soft skills. Magkaiba kasi yung dalawang yun, no? Kung ihahambing ko lang yan sa itlog, 'di ba? Yung boiled egg tsaka soft boiled, yung lutong-lutong itlog tsaka yung biro lang, no? Kasi isip ko hard and soft So ang magkaiba kasi the companies when they're looking for hard skills, usually ito yung mga technical skills talaga na natuturo sa school. Ito yung mga bagay-bagay na kaya nga tayo nag-aral sa school because it is expected that when we graduate from that specific course, alam natin yung technical skill na yun or yung hard skill na yun. For example, if I use an example na computer programming, ayan, o kaya if you're in the engineering, hard skill example is you know how to operate a welding machine. Ayan, or you know how to use a certain equipment, 'di ba? So, these are really technical skills no na inaaral natin, 'di ba, from the school. So, kapag yung company ganun ang hinahanap, without a doubt, kailangan marunong talaga kayo niyan. 'Di ba? Hindi mo pwede sabihin na marunong ka tapos pagka pinahandle sa yung gamit na yun or yung equipment na yun ngingitian mo na lang yung HR tapos idadaan mo sa kwentuhan, 'di ba? Hindi pwede mangyari 'yon. So, if the company is looking for a specific hard skill or specific requirement which involves your hard skill, definitely you need to have that. Na pag soft skills naman, marami rin kasi mga bagay sa totoo lang, no, that we don't learn in school. And these are part of the soft skills eh. One of which, yung pinaka-common, sabi nga nila, is yung communication skills. May iba naman dyan. It's about yung ano natin, analytical skills, di ba? How do you, well, school gives us the background, the foundation to acquire yung ganung klase or to develop yung ganung klase mga soft skills. Pero it's not an overnight thing. It's not a textbook based skill na learning na pag binasa mo, alam mo na. Diba? So this is something that you have to keep on practicing. So to answer your question, Ma'am Joyce, ano bang mas importante, soft skills or hard skills? I think it's a combination of both. Pero para sa akin, yung hard skill, pwede mo siya matutunan pa. No, yung kumbaga parang pwede mo pang iaral pa, mas mahirap i-mold ang soft skills. Yun for me, mas mahirap siya parang formation yan character formation yan ang soft skills. So, between the two, kung wala naman na requirement ang technical skill, tingin ko importante talaga yung soft skill sa environment. That's sa work environment. That's more crucial. Yun.
Or depende ba siya, sir, sa course ng isang aplikante? So for example, if you're on more tech side, so dapat ba mas maraming hard skills on your resume than your soft skills?
It is expected that you should have those hard skills kapag yung course mo or yung specialization mo involves yung ganong mga technicalities na, 'di ba? Yung mga sabi niyo nga, Ma'am Joyce, technical ang course mo. Definitely,
Mhm.
expected talagang makita doon sa inyong information sheet. Now, if yung soft skills kasi regardless of the course yan regardless kung
Mhm.
ang field mo nasa technical or hindi, tingin ko
Yes.
hinahanap yan ng mga HR. Diba? Kasi even if you're very good with your technical, kung hindi ka marunong ng collaboration, hindi ka marunong ng teamwork, diba?
Mhm.
Nasisense sa'yo ng HR pagka magaling nga tong taong to, kaso lang, sabi nga nila, diba, no man is an island eh. Paano natin i-hire tong taong to? Kung magaling nga siya, problema, hindi naman siya marunong makitungo, maki-communicate, no? Yung gusto dapat i-communicate sa kanya. So, mahirapan din mag-survive yung person yun dun sa organization. Diba? So, yun. Unless siguro yung trabaho, project-based. Wala kang kasama, bigay lang sa yung trabaho, gawin mo yan. After mo gawin yan, submit mo sa akin yung end resulta kung ano man yung kailangan. O yun, walang problema doon, di ba? So it really depends no doon sa structure or demand or nung industry or nung company rin. Yun. Diba?
That does. Alright. Thank you, sir. Kasi parang before, sir, nung may mga on-site talks tayo,
Mm.
sa school talks tayo, may argument before na if your course is Archi, ganun, or IT, sabi niya, why do I have to, sabi niya, upgrade or bakit kailangan ko magkaroon ng soft skills? Sabi po ata nung student. So, syempre, how can you communicate naman po, 'di ba, with your client if
Mm. Tama.
walang soft skill. So, parang gano'n. May argument before po, parang gano'n
Correct.
po.
And to add to that lang sa sinabi mo, Ma'am Joyce, we always strive for for improvement. 'Di ba? Ang tao pag hindi nag-i-improve, you'll get stuck eventually. 'Di ba? Magaling ka nga ngayon, no? Super galing mo
Mm.
nga ngayon. Pero as we continue to evolve, may mga certain skills and required dun sa organization So importante rin na maano rin tayo kahit papaano, kahit konti, 'di ba? Kahit konti. You also learn from other skills din. Yan yung
Mhm.
importante. No? Yun.
Alright. So, one last question, sir, before we end po the Q&A for this portion. So, good day, sir. So, does the resume link have that kind of screening software used by HRs in companies? For example, helps applicants make their resume effective and better in handling out their skills, abilities, and potentials.
Can you say it again? Does the company have
Does the resume link have that kind of screening software um,
ah
used by HRs in companies?
okay. So when you go through online application sa mga companies, may mga certain tests or evaluation that they will require you to do or go through as part of their process. May iba, ang screening process nila manual. So they screen you manually. Example lang, com skills, they can screen you manually, kausapin ka lang nila, then they can do their judgment based on kung paano ka makisagot. May ibang companies, they do it automated. So parang voice recorder ang dating niyan. When you dial a number, example lang, dial this number, and then you follow the instruction kung ano sinabi nung voice, di ba? Voice behind
Mhm.
the phone. Pag sinabi niya, you say this word, you answer ganyan, then you just answer. Tapos they will, the software now automatically evaluates kung pasok ka or hindi dun sa certain ano na yun, certain test na yun. So,
Mm.
yun. I think, to answer your question, si Resume Link is different from those tests. Very different. No, resume link is where you can package yourself. You can upload if you want to upload or attach. I mean, attach pala, not upload. Attach yung mga selfie videos nyo, highlighting, depende kung ano yung hinahighlight nyo. Pwedeng soft skills, pwedeng hard skills. And you let down the HR decide kung sino yung nag-evaluate or recruiter, no, or evaluator ninyo. Diba? Pero definitely, if the company has that kind of process that you have to dial in, tapos and do your speech, 'di ba? Para ma-evaluate nila yung com skills mo, then by all means, you have to go through that pa rin. Kahit gumamit ka na o hindi ka gumamit ng resume link, yun talaga yung process ng company, 'di ba?
Mm.
So yun to.
Alright. Thank you, sir. Sir, may question tayo from audience. Habol lang tayo. Sayang
Sige
naman. So,
pa.
from Miss Rachel De Vera, Arañez. So, um, from Israel Andalahao, Saret of ICT-ED. So, what are the companies po that you have a partnership with? Is it local or for international?
Ma'am Rachel, simple lang po sagot ko dyan, no? You can check out our website, jobs180.com, o kaya you can look at what is scrolling on the screen right now. You can go visit schools with an S, schools.jobs180.com/ICT-ed. Ayan. Okay, you go to those links and you can check out a lot of companies. Now, to be more specific, yes, there are so many companies, no? Sobrang dami. As in, sobrang daming companies, sobrang daming positions you can explore. Local, international, we make sure lang that the companies who are advertised there, that you see, they all are legit companies. No, dumaan yan sa due diligence namin. They go through the proper requirement, no, by Philippine laws. So, sa batas natin, importante, meron po silang physical office sa Pilipinas. Lahat po ng company makita nyo dyan, meron pong physical office sa Philippines. In the event that you would like to check out companies outside of the Philippines, meron din naman, basta lang they go through the registered agencies, no, yung mga POEA license agencies natin. So, yun po. So, doon kayo dadaan. Hindi siya diretso doon sa company na walang office sa Philippines. Okay? So, to give you peace of mind, Ma'am Rachel, yes, lahat po yan, legit. Oh, meron pa next question.
Alright.
Sige lang.
Yes, sir. Ayan. Iba yung nag-show. Ayan. So,
Ay,
another
iba na show.
question, sir, from Miss Princess. So, how effective is Jobs 180 for fresh graduates?
If you are a fresh graduate, Ma'am Princess, I also like you to try it and see it for yourself. No, because iba yung theory sa application. Some applicants they put this into practice, they created their resume link and they started using it. It's for their convenience, it's for their security, and best of all, it's how they market themselves more effectively. So with the tips that we have given, how effective is Jobs 180 for fresh graduate? Not just for fresh graduates. This is effective for anyone, no, who wants to keep their information secured. So kung kayo naman po ay hindi fresh graduate, just in case lang, kasi sabi ko nila, if you're a fresh graduate, if you're not a fresh graduate, you are also encouraged to create a resume link. So you put all the information there, you keep it to yourself, diba? Kung sino bibigyan mo ng resume link nyo, yun lang makakaalam po ng information ninyo. Diba? So this is very different compared to, say, a social media or other job platform. Okay? I hope nasagot ko yan, Ma'am Princess, yung question niya.
Yes, sir. So, meaning, the resume link is not only for fresh graduates. So, kahit
Yes.
tenured ka pa, ayan.
Oo,
So,
bata,
it's
matanda, o
better. Yes,
senior,
true.
pwede. Lahat.
Much better pag senior na kasi mas maraming experience, mas maraming laman ng resume
Kaya pa
ng
malalagay,
applicant.
oo.
Yes,
And
sir.
sometimes,
So, ayan.
nasabi sa akin to ng mga friends ko sa sa industry na mayroon na experience, ay mga nag-work na ng more than 10 years, 20 years. Sabi nila, the good thing with using the resume link is that pag sila ay naimbita bigla, syempre, 'di ba, pag ikaw ay nasa certain stature na, no, ng trabaho, ng career nyo, marami ng invitation diyan sa iyo eh. Imbitahin ka para sa alumni nyo to inspire the younger audience. Iimbitahin ka na, example, for an event, no, or for a social gathering to do an opening message or to do an inspirational remarks. So what do? You normally send them a profile for your introduction. 'Di ba? So the best way to do this, wala na mga email, babalikan mo pa yung mga Word file mo, di mo na alam kung pang ilang version na yung Word file na send mo, di ba? Kasi dami na in-update mo eh. So what they normally send na lang is they give them the resume link. Ganun lang kasimple. They just tell them, oh, this is my resume link, check it out. Andyan na yung profile ko for introduction and that's it. 'Di ba? So pupunta na sila doon, and yun na, introduce sila. So hindi siya hassle, 'di ba? It's very convenient. If you need to update it, real-time update din. Ayan.
All right.
Oh,
Thank you,
yeah.
sir. So, ayan, may habol
Yes.
pa ring question. So,
Ay, ano
from
ba?
Miss Maria
Sige lang. Oh.
Ambalbuenas, good morning po. One of our students were asking, what is the difference between the soft and hard skills? Thank you po.
What's the difference between the soft and hard skills? Earlier, Miss Maria or Rosebeth, I explained that soft skills, these are skills that you normally learn outside of school. No, hindi lahat na form or na develop. No, example nga diyan, communication skills, yung mga tipong teamwork, collaboration, yan. These are all part of soft skills, no? Hard skills naman, these are normally technical skills. Kung ano requirement sa inyo. Example, if you're into computer programming, if you're into graphic design, 'di ba? Yan, example lang. You're into refrigeration and air conditioning. O yan, 'di ba? So talaga technical kumbaga sa ano, sa pag-aral. Yun po. I hope nasagot ko, no? Yung tanong.
And to add lang, sir, yung hard skills are actually teachable and measurable. So unlike
Yes.
soft skills po, those are the personal or personal qualities po that help you thrive in the workplace. So
That's
ayan,
correct. That's
yung
correct.
mga soft
Mm-mm.
skills. And so I think no more questions, sir. Ayan, at least may nag-ask from ICT-ED. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys asking questions po sa ating speakers. So, sir, before you leave po, do you have final words po for
Ako,
ICT-ED
yeah,
individual?
final words ko lang is you can apply to as many companies as you want to. Kahit na malayo pa sa location nyo, kahit na ito ay walang connect sa course nyo, pwede kayo mag-apply, pwede kayo mag-submit ng resume link ninyo as long as nag-research kayo. Okay, you have to do your research first, check out the company, check out the position you're applying for before you submit anything. Okay, kasi ayaw ko mangyari, ang iniiwasan ko dyan is yung pag tinawagan kayo ng company, because they'll be looking forward to hiring you. Now, when they call you and they ask you one simple question, why did you apply for this position? Or sometimes they ask you, what do you know about the company? And then you start to answer, hindi ko po alam eh, 'di ba? Or hindi ko po yung kasi sure kung nag-apply ba talaga ako eh. O di lagot na, 'di ba? Sayang lang yung opportunity. That's why you have to do your research first, check out the company and then you submit. Okay? Yun lang. Yun ang tip ko. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Kim. So, again, if you're interested to know more about Jobs 180, guys, you may visit our website. It's www.jobs180.com, or you may go to your school portal po. So, yung run sa screen ninyo sa school sa jobs180.com/ICT-ED.
ED.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Kim. So, and guys, if na-miss ninyo yung portion, Sir Kim resume link. So you may again visit Jobs 180 or YouTube page later for the replay of this session. So moving on to our next topic. Ayan. Okay, so our next speaker is Mariel, has been in the industry for more than 10 years now and handling different facets of HR. She started with outbound sourcing, then moved to end-to-end recruitment processing to facilities and employee relations to talent marketing, and now handling university partnerships and linkages. So the senior associate from talent attraction and talent acquisition of Ernst& Young Philippines, Miss Mariel Palomares. Mariel, take it away.
Everyone, good morning. I hope you were able to take your breakfast. And again, I'm Yel from Ernst& and Young Global Delivery Services, or EY. And I'm here to at least give you tips, the top 10 communication skills for workplace success, so that in time, if you're already part of a company, part of the industry that you chose, okay, then you'll be able to know your way around the office, right? Though I'm sure these things are, you're very much familiar with these things, but of course, I'm here to at least remind you and reiterate the importance of the communication skills that will help you succeed in the career path that you will be choosing. Okay, so first, first tip. So, active listening. I'm sure you always hear this even in school, at home. Okay, so active listening means paying close attention to who you're communicating with by engaging with them, asking questions and rephrasing. So, this is very important, especially if you're going to attend an interview, whether virtual or on site or face to face, because sometimes there's this certain error that candidates commit when they're too nervous. They tend to misunderstand the question or miss out on the question. My tip with that is you can always ask for them to repeat the question in a nice manner. Okay, so you can tell them, for example, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you repeat the question, please?" Something like that, rather than answering without really understanding or without hearing the entire question. So that's very risky because you might answer na very far-fetched dun sa question itself. So when you practice active listening, it also builds respect, okay, with coworkers and increase understanding in the workplace, especially if the type of career that you'll be choosing is a certain position wherein someone will do client presentations, you'll deal with different members of the group, especially if it's with sales, right? If there's a rebuttal from the client, then the prospective client, and then you were able to catch the certain rebuttal, you weren't able to answer it in a quick manner and in a concise manner, then you might lose that client, right? So as you actively listen, focus on the speaker and avoid distractions, especially checking your mobile phones, right? So even in meetings, one tip again, another tip, if you're in a meeting, make sure to take down notes. Always make it a habit to take down notes, whether or not it affects you directly. As long as they send you the invite, it means somehow you need to know the certain content of that meeting or the certain discussion that will happen during the meeting. Okay, so don't feel like, 'di naman ako kailangan diyan, eh. Parang hindi ko naman kailangan 'yan or hindi naman ako importante diyan or wala naman akong connect diyan. Don't ever feel that way. So it will always be best to take down notes, whether you're the old school type that you need to have a notebook or a planner, or let's say OneNote, or let's say Trello, or whichever you're using. Just make sure that you're taking down notes. Okay? So that, because sometimes there are certain situation that your boss will suddenly ask at the end of the meeting. I experienced this a lot of times already. Okay, then after the meeting, saka sasabihin sa'yo, "Ayal, pasend na lang ng minutes, ah." So ikaw, siyempre, you'll be shocked. You didn't know that you'll be sending the minutes of the meeting. When you say minutes of the meeting, what took place? What was the things that were discussed? What were the key asks? When you say key ask, what are the request or the action points that will be that are requested from this department. What if the meeting ended and then your boss asks you, can you please send us the minutes of the meeting? Then you didn't take down any notes, 'di ba? So you'll be lost. You won't be able to do it. Because and then they will caught you that you're not really listening, that you're scrolling sa phone mo while the meeting is ongoing. So of course you don't want to experience that, especially if you're less than a year in a company. You're just in the position wherein you're trying to prove yourself, you're trying to introduce yourself, who you are, what you can do, your capabilities, right? And then they'll discover, ito palang si ganito, hindi naman niya nakikinig eh. Hindi naman mukhang interested, right? So, especially if it's a meeting that you'll be able to meet executives for the first time or bosses from like different sections or different departments of the company, then you were caught in the middle of a situation that you cannot solve alone because you weren't able to jot down everything that took place, right? So, you don't want that. Improve your active listening skills by paying attention to other people's facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice. Okay, so based on the tone of voice, especially if you're going to, let's say, on sales or something, if the client seems interested, if your prospect seems bored with what you're saying, okay, because if you can listen to those types of, let's say, tone of voice or body language, they seem bored with your presentation. You can input like maybe that's a perfect time to have like an icebreaker. right? Rather than continuously talking and talking and talking, and you ended up with no one's really listening na at all because they're um, because of the content of the talk. It seems it's very lengthy, it's very wordy with the presentation. Okay, so instead of preparing what you will say next, focus on what the other person is saying and how they are speaking. Okay, so again, if you need to clarify something, if you need to ask them to repeat what they just said, that's better. Another tip that I can give you is that ask follow-up questions. Okay, actually, even in real life, even at home, you can use this. If if let's say your mom or your dad is trying to tell you something, or you have an errand to do. Okay, that also applies in the work setup, right? If your boss is trying to um, ask you a certain project or assign a certain project to you, it will be best if you list down the questions first before the meeting itself. Think what are the possible scenarios. Think about the worst case scenarios. Think about the choke point that might happen, right? And rephrase. So, for example, during an alignment call of a certain project, perhaps you can list down what will be the expected timeline of this project. When do you expect us to submit this? If we have questions, to whom do we need to send the email to? Something like that. So you need to list questions in advance so that during the meeting you can already ask that. Okay, and they will feel that you're really interested, that you're really into the project or into that certain task that you were given, right? And you will of course leave a good impression with the rest of the team. Next is communication method. Okay, so number two, using the right way to communicate is an important skill. Okay, so right now people communicate in terms of emails, letters, phone calls, and actually not too much of letters already, not unless it's a formal letter. Phone calls, in-person meetings, or actually messaging, different messaging if you're into WhatsApp, Discord, Viber, FB Messenger, whatever that is. Okay, so make sure that, of course, when you communicate, you need to consider your audience. Okay, so if it's a formal setup, normally it's via email or via phone call or text. And if you, let's say, have a meeting with a certain client, with a certain colleague or whatnot, you can also ask them if it's, let's say, an external or a third party vendor, meaning it's outside, that the person you're talking to is not an employee of the company. You can also ask them, which mode of communication do you prefer? Diba? Do you prefer that we'll continue exchanging emails, or will it be easier for you if we just create like a Viber group or a Messenger group? Okay, because sometimes they do that. It's actually they will be relieved when you do that because they have this option to choose whichever communication method they think best fits them. So most of the time, people chooses instant messaging than emails and text messages nowadays. Okay, based on my experience. So people create Viber groups, they'll just add you or Messenger, right? So that they can at least check your messages real time, especially if it's an urgent task. And at the same time, consider what information you want to share. Okay, this is very crucial in with companies nowadays. Make sure that information that you are sharing to clients or to external vendors, third parties, is not a confidential information. Okay, based on the Data Privacy Act and all, you need to make sure that you know what to share and what not to share. Okay, and again, the best way to share it. So there. Third is friendliness. Okay, this is really basic, but of course, nowadays people are easily being irate, are short-tempered. So as you notice, even in social media, right? People always had the opinion. People always lashes out or cancel people. So make sure that in the office or in the workplace, if it's let's say your first year in the office, right? That you foster trust and understanding. Okay, this will happen if you have honesty and kindness in your heart. So try to communicate with a positive attitude, keep an open mind, and ask questions to help you understand where they're coming from. Sometimes they might not have the same beliefs that you have, but it doesn't give you the right to cancel out their ideas or to shut them out. So small gestures such as asking someone how they're doing or smiling as they speak, especially if you're new to the team, make sure that you'll be able to blend with your team, not to the point that, of course, you'll change your principles for them. That's a different matter. That's a different thing. Just make sure that you'll, greet them once in a while, especially right now. Offices are in a hybrid setup. So every now and then, once, twice a week, you'll be meeting them. So don't forget to just smile if you're not the type who talks a lot. Okay. Or just say hey, say hi during lunchtime. Perhaps you can, if you're willing and you're comfortable with it, you can bond with them. Parang, hey, saan kayo kakain ng lunch? Or something. Uy, anong lunch mo? Little talks like that. Sometimes it starts, it's a starting point of a friendship. But of course, you didn't go to that office to make friends, right? You went there to build your career, to earn money for your future, for your family. Just always, perhaps if I have a personal experience that I hope that will help you out. For me, personally, again, um, it might not apply to you or you might not agree. But for me, one of the things that one of my bosses told me that up until now I still remember, that was several years ago, where I was trapped within doing the right thing and doing and avoiding conflict with my colleagues, for example. Just keep in mind that though you're friendly, you're honest, you're kind, you're warm, you're cheerful, you didn't go there to make friends or to have a barkada, right? You went there to work, to be a successful person in that field, and to create financial freedom or financial stability for you, for your future family, or for whoever is you're supporting, or for yourself, to to gain happiness, right? Success, fulfillment. Okay, so just make sure that you know, of course, when to draw the line. Okay, but again, you can practice friendliness by remembering small, thoughtful details, like, for example, their birthdays. I actually had this way back when I was in this company. I even had even write it in my planner and put it like in a post-it note just near, just within my station, the birthdays of my teammates, just so I won't forget. Because I'm not really I'm not the type of person who remembers birthdays all the time. So, and people don't really put in Facebook their birthdays all the time as well. So I just put in there so that I can greet them, right? It might be simple, don't need to buy a gift, but still greeting them, that it means that you remember and that somehow they're important to you, right? Or even past conversations. Oh, I remember, how was your kid? 'Di ba? Pag example, nag-SL kasi may sakit yung anak niya. So you can always ask them, 'di ba? Kumustahin mo? Uy, I heard that your kid was confined. How is she? Or how is he? I hope she's doing well. Parang what happened? It means that somehow you're concerned. Especially, just make sure that the delivery and the timing is right. Okay, we don't want to seem like we're prying or we're like just chismosa who want to know more. Right? Just make sure that the topic is um, you know timely, and that you have this certain somehow connection already for you to ask them. And if they say no, it's okay, or I don't want to talk about it, maybe it's that um I mean that what happened was really sad and they want to talk about it, then don't push it. Okay? So there. Next is confidence. So in the workplace, people are more likely to respond to ideas that are presented with confidence. Okay, sometimes this is actually the technique of people who are not able to prepare ahead of time. 'Di ba? Parang, basta ano ka lang, sound confident ka lang, maniniwala sila dyan sa sinasabi mo. Minsan ganun. 'Di ba? But of course, it's not a good practice, because just saying that, confidence really brings out a different effect. Okay, so there are many ways to appear confident, including making eye contact. Okay, sitting up straight with your shoulders open, meaning you're not like slouching like that, it's like you're being bored or sleepy. So preparing ahead of time. Okay, so If you have presentations, make sure that you're able to prepare at least a week before that. If it's really a lengthy one and a very important project in a client presentation, a do or die presentation, normally people prepare a month or two, because they need necessary research, they need actual numbers. So as long as we're able to prepare ahead of time, do your necessary pre-work, then you're good to go. Okay, so your thoughts are polished because di ba parang sa school din, di ba if you have projects, if you have your thesis, kailangan sabi nga nila kahit bali-balik ta rin, kabisado mo yan kasi ikaw ang gumawa niyan. So not unless you asked someone or you paid someone to do it for you, that's a different thing. Okay. So, because sometimes there are like third party vendors who does that, especially if it's like surveys and stuff. But if it's not like that, if you were the ones who were assigned and were expected to do that certain task or project, you need to make sure that from the bottom up, you were able to, do everything, know everything, read everything, understood everything. Okay, reading something and understanding something is different. Okay, so keep that in mind. And at the same time, yeah, communication is also helpful in the job interview process. Okay, how could you sound confident during an interview? You need to practice. Okay, practice is you know um, the key to that. Because if, and of course, reading the job description, right? Because most of the final interview questions, most of the time, they rely on the job ad. So they want to know that you really understood the role, you know what you're expecting, you know about the company, you know the vision, the mission, where it's located, even how the company name is pronounced. Okay, like us, sometimes were able to interview people who calls our company A. Okay, so it's not A, it's EY because it stands for Ernst and Young. Okay, so if at the start of the interview you don't even know how you need to pronounce or you should pronounce the company, then it might affect the result of the interview. It means that you didn't do your research, right? Number five, top five, sharing feedback. Okay, so this is a tricky thing, especially if you're a sensitive person. Feedback might make or break you. So if that's the case, then you need to make sure that you understood the feedback and have an open mind to it. So during in the workplace, feedback is really given on a regular basis. Okay, it might be like in an email form, on a report form, or they'll be talking to you directly. Okay, sometimes I admit it might hurt at times, since especially if you did 100 or 200% of your effort, but still you weren't able to make it. But and feedback, that's our that's the material that we use to grow. Okay, to know our strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so make sure to take notes, remember those certain problems you experience, how you should have dealt with it, so that if you're given the same task or same project or somehow related to it, then you'll be able to know things that you need to avoid. Okay, kasi syempre it's different if you made mistakes in your first time, since you're new to the company, versus it was given to you na before and then you made the same mistake. So it means that you weren't really in maybe you're not really into the project or into the task because you didn't make an effort to learn, or to make sure that this time around you'll be able to do it perfectly, right? Next is volume and clarity. So when you're speaking, it's important to be clear and audible. And if it's not a face-to-face thing, make sure to check if you're clear on your audible with the audience that you're speaking to. Because you might assume that, if you assume that you're clear, you assume that they can hear you. However, they don't. So you'll be missing the point. You won't be able to put your message across. Okay, so maybe you need to adjust your speaking voice, or if say your speaking voice is too loud. Sometimes that happens. Okay, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes if I'm too excited, I tend to be a bit louder than the usual. Okay, so make sure that you practice your tonality. Okay, so and loudness, softness of your voice, because sometimes it might seem disrespectful, or you might sound a bit arrogant instead of confident in certain settings. So you need to make sure to read the room, see their nonverbal cues. Do they seem like interested? Do they seem offended? Okay, something like that. So check your pitch, if it's going up and down, or you're being monotonous already, right? So you need to check that out. Empathy. So having empathy means that you can not only just understand but also share in the emotions of others. Okay, so this is really important, especially if there are like sensitive issues or incidents, right? So, for example, if someone expressing their anger or frustration, empathy can help you acknowledge and diffuse their emotion or de-escalate the situation. Hindi yung galit na nga, parang sabi nga nila, ginatungan mo pa. 'Di ba? So, lalong nagalit. 'Di ba? So, if your colleague is already frustrated, medyo, sabi nga sa layman's terms, parang agre na. 'Di ba? Wag mo na siyempre dagdagan. Make sure to help in terms of helping them be calm, understand the situation, or at the same time, wag niyo muna i-push. Wag mo muna i-push na, ikaw kasi mali ka naman talaga. Basta talagang lalo magagalit. So make sure na, oh, I'll just get you some water, give them water, o kalmahan mo lang. Di ba normally we use that term, o kalma, something like that. Breathe in, breathe out, ask them to, count 1 to 10. Um, and then perhaps you can ask them to, come on, let's just get grab a coffee or grab a milk tea or something, then let's talk about it. Allow them to vent out, let everything out, just listen. Okay, and then so that they can relax afterwards, and perhaps if they're already calm and collected, then you can go back to work, and you'll be feeling better. Okay, so yun, and to make sure that you'll be able to understand if they're feeling positive or enthusiastic, so that you can support their ideas and projects. Okay? So pag mainit na yung ulo, wag niyo munang kukontrahin to avoid conflicts, because it might escalate and turn into something that you don't want to happen. Diba? You might be reported to HR or something. So next is respect. Knowing when to initiate communication and respond. Again, there are times when you just need to listen, take down notes. There are times that they'll be asking you for your point of view. Okay? Usually, 'di ba, you use like parang ano ba 'to, mamaro naman 'to. 'Di ba? So, or Jollibee Jollibee naman 'to, bida-bida. Okay? So, of course, you don't want to be labeled in your first year in the office, right? So, know when to speak up, know when to stay quiet, know if it's a time to ask questions. Okay? So because there's always a time that the speaker will ask questions, or there'll always be a Q&A portion if there's a meeting, right? So don't interrupt, especially if someone is presenting, if they don't have that certain leeway yet, because they will be asking, do you have any questions? Or they will tell you, okay, I'll be presenting this deck, and then these slides, then I'll be giving 10 to 15 minutes Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. Okay, so hintayin mo na matapos. Okay, so there. Also, respectfully communicating also means using your time with someone else wisely. Even if it's just dialing in 5 minutes, 10 minutes earlier. Okay, please practice to be on time, if not earlier than the usual schedule, because it's a sign of respect. Especially if you're like in EY, we're dealing with international clients, hindi Filipino time yung ibang tao. So if they say 10, it's 10. So if it means that if it's 10 a.m., you need to be in the call 10 minutes before 10. Okay, not 10:01 or 10:03. And if let's say you're stuck in another meeting, make sure 5-10 minutes before 10 a.m. you're able to inform them. I'm sorry, I'll be a bit late. I'm still on another meeting. Something like that. It means that you show that you respect their time. Okay? And staying on the topic, it's not a time for chismes or kwentuhan if it's a meeting. You need to make sure that there's an agenda, stick to that agenda so that you won't be extending. So if it's 10 to 10:30, you need to make sure that 10:30 you're finished, especially with you dealing again with international clients. They're very sensitive with time. So you need to check on it. So ask clear questions, respond fully to any questions that you've been asked. And again, like I informed you a while ago, make sure to check the nonverbal cues, body language, facial expression, eye contact. Okay. And lastly, responsiveness, whether you're returning a phone call or sending a reply to an email, fast communicators are viewed as more effective than those who are slow to respond. I'm actually guilty with this, especially if I have a lot of on my plate. I tend to respond a bit slower than the usual. So, like what the speaker before me told you guys, you need to prioritize. So, perhaps if you came from vacation, you were out of the office 2 or 3 days. Of course, when you open your email, sometimes it's 100, 500, or worst case scenario, it's even like 800 to 1,000 emails. If that's your career is what that's like. So make sure to prioritize. Diba sabi nga kanina, what's important and urgent. Okay, urgent but not so important, something like that. So you need to classify and make sure that your email is, of course, organized. It will be easier for you, right? Create folders for this department. These are the people. For this department, these are the people, so that you won't be confused if you're receiving hundreds of emails in a day. Okay, so and if you won't be able to respond at once, make sure to respond with, let's say, got your email, I'll be answering this in a few minutes or something, or in a day or two, something like that. So just make sure to address that you got the email, you got the message. Okay, so just acknowledge. Or if you're close enough with the person, you can DM them. You can send them like a message. Oh, I got your email. Just give me a few more hours to respond. Something like that. Okay, so just acknowledge that you received it. Okay, so I think we can skip the bonus content because we're out of time, but I won't be dwelling on this further. I just created this just in case we finish a bit early. So you need to to improve your communication skills anyway. You need just to observe good communicators, ask a close friend or colleague for criticism, attend workshops or classes like what Jobs 180 normally offers and your school normally schedules for you for to help you. Seek opportunities to communicate, and how to communicate effectively. You need to make sure again to be clear and concise. Wag nobela ang pag-reply. So you need to be straight to the point. Practice empathy. Okay, you need to be sensitive on what will the person on the receiving end will feel if you say this. Choose your words wisely. Okay. Do positive scripting. So assert yourself, but still be calm and consistent. Use and read body language. So, but before I end, of course, for employment applications, please check out our job opportunities via our Jobs 180 account. Again, the creating a resume link is free. It's really helpful. So just send us your resume link at campusrecruitmentph@gds.ey.com or check out jobs180.com/EYGTS. Okay, thank you everyone. Back to you.
All right, so thank you so much, Miss Yale. So unfortunately, Miss Yale won't be able to join us for the Q&A, but if you have questions regarding the topic, just post your questions in the comment section and we'll try to ask our next speaker po sa mga questions there. Okay, so moving on to our next topic for today. So top skills employers look for. So our next presenter, Ms. Roan is a licensed professional teacher with ESOL and EFL certificate. So she started her career as a corporate trainer. Yes, apologies. Corporate trainer with experience in staff development, leadership training, communication, and curriculum development way back in 2017. So, with a strong background in delivering training, Ms. Roan joined the VXI family and started her journey as a training specialist last 2021. So, the talent acquisition trainer from VXI Global, Ms. Roan May Dizon-Berog. Hi, Ms. Roan. Good morning po.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi,
No,
ma'am.
it's actually good morning. Good morning.
Good
Hi, good
morning.
morning, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you may now test your share screen.
All right, there you go. Okay, so everyone, I am Roan and I'm from VXI. I am part of the talent acquisition team and I am here with you today to talk about the top skills that employers are looking for when they are hiring. All right, so let's get going. Of course, we're going to talk about what is skills and what is it for. and why do we need to acquire skill? So skill is the ability for us to use our knowledge effectively and readily. Okay, it has got something to do with coordination or physical tasks and some mental activities. It is a learned power of doing something competently, and this is something that you develop. Now, a lot of you guys might actually think, what are the skills that I need? And what if the skills that is needed is something that I'm afraid of? So, first off, I just want to say that do not let fear prevent you from growing and progressing. So, a lot of people will say that they are growing by learning, by observing something or someone, but the thing is, this is something I want to highlight. If you are in your comfort zone, most likely you will not develop a lot of skills. All right. So, yes, it will be scary at first, but that is something that we need to deal with. Okay. So, if you were afraid, for example, you were afraid to do public speaking, why not take a class or join a group that helps people become better public speakers? Okay, so that is how you're going to acquire skill. First, conquer your fear. It is going to be uncomfortable at first, but then you will, um, uh, you just have to do it over and over again until it gets easy. All right. So, for example, another example, if you are afraid to risk, and you don't have any means of understanding the concept of something, why not find a mentor who can help you make good decisions and build your confidence? All right. So grow and learn by trying things you might not be comfortable doing. If you are shy, a lot of people, um, we will start from being shy. All right. Me myself, I am so shy at first as well, but then I was able to conquer it. Try starting a conversation, just like what Miss Yell mentioned earlier. She's talking about how you're going to improve your communication skill, and that is going to be the good start. If you're shy, try starting a conversation, try to introduce yourself, meet new people, and from there, you're going to learn a lot more from them. All right? So let's go to the importance of having the right skills. Why is it important? First off, of course, you're trying to apply to a company of your dreams, right? And of course, they are looking for specific skills. So number one, employers see more positively towards you as an employee. They're looking forward to know more about you, and not only know more about you, but of course the things that you can do. Okay? Employers prefer applicants who are willing to learn new skills. Now, here's the thing, a lot of people will say, I read the job description and it doesn't really match my skill set. All right, one tip for you guys, especially for those of you who will be applying for the first time, if you think that you don't fit 100% in the job description or in the requirements list, it's okay, it's fine. Just still try your best. If you meet, let's just say, 70% of it, or even 50% of the skill sets required, it's okay as long as you're going to highlight during the interview that you are willing to learn new skills. Okay? So always mention the same in your resume. Okay? You learn about how you're going to create your online resume. And from there, it is very important that you're going to put there you're willing to learn uh, new skills and you can improve as fast as you can. You're a keen learner and things like that. All right, that will definitely attract the employers to hire you. Okay. Number three, you will be more confident during interviews. Okay, if you have the right skill set, okay, definitely you will have more confidence, and of course, if you know to yourself that you can do it, right? Definitely the confidence will be there. Number four, you will have strong resumes, cover letters, and good job applications. Okay, you know this for sure. If you have what it takes to apply for the job, definitely you're not only going to gain confidence, you are so sure of yourself that you're going to be a strong candidate. Okay, and the next one is it is one of the ways to expand and identify your skills. All right. So whenever you're identifying yourself, you have to go ahead and identify your skills as well, whether you're good in this thing, whether this skill of yours that you've learned from your OJT before is going to be useful in this position that you're applying for. You have to identify it. Okay, later on we're going to talk about how you're going to do that. And the last one is students gain skills from on-the-job learning, which may include service learning opportunities and internships. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to remember whenever you're asking yourself what are the important skills that you need to put in your resume. Okay. Now, what are the top skills that we're looking for as, I'm part of the talent acquisition team. We really want to attract candidates with strong resumes and job applications. These are the things that we're looking for. So, number one is critical thinking and problem solving. Okay. Now, this is something um, very important for us. First off, a lot of applicants nowadays they will have access to the internet. Most of us will have an easy way of um, trying to come up with a solution. The internet is there. Just type how to in Google. Or you can just simply go to YouTube and watch a video on how you can do it. Now, critical thinking and problem solving, it goes hand in hand. Now, even though you do have the critical thinking skill, but you can't apply it and come up with a problem solving skill. Therefore, it's not effective. Now, very necessary for almost every job. Employees need to be able to analyze evidence, question assumptions, hypotheses, observe and draw conclusions from any form of data. Critical thinking is not just a skill, but a habit formed to help with problem solving. Now, although critical thinking and problem solving is, let's just say, one of the top skills required, you will you'll still improve it along the way. Okay, it's okay if this is not your or if you haven't mastered critical thinking and problem solving yet, given that you don't have any experience yet, or let's just say you don't have enough experience yet, given that you guys are going to be applying for the first time. So as long as you are willing to undergo training and to form this habit, because it says here it's a habit, well, then you're still good to go. Now, one thing I can say for you guys to help improve your critical thinking and problem solving skill is number one, never ever complain before you actually try to do it yourself. Right? So a lot of people will start talking and complaining first without even thinking and without even trying how to solve it or solving the problem first. Okay, a lot of Filipinos, this is one habit that we are very used to doing. We're gonna talk and we're going to complain, oh, ang hirap naman ito. Ang dami naman. Things like that. Alright? So instead of doing those things, why not divert your energy into gossip or complaining into doing and trying to come up with a solution. Okay, there you go. So that's number one top skill that we are looking for. Number two, teamwork and collaboration in the workplace. So um, earlier we learned something about how to communicate properly in a workplace. So this has got something to do with that. Teamwork and collaboration in the workplace is very important. So although you do have the critical thinking, the problem solving skill, all the hard skills that you need, but you don't know how to communicate and collaborate with your teamwork, with your teammates, therefore it's going to be still difficult for you to be successful in the workplace. Okay, so a few other reasons employers strive for teamwork skill is that those skills can actually promote unity in the workplace. Teamwork can provide improved productivity, right? And it promotes work synergy and can provide new learning opportunities. So earlier I mentioned to you, I talked to you about having a mentor, so it's going to be difficult for you to collaborate with someone, right? If you don't have this teamwork and collaboration skill, right? And of course, communication skill, right? So if you really want to learn a lot more from others, well, then you have to start with improving your teamwork and collaboration skill in the workplace. Okay, you can be a step ahead of the competition if you are going to master the skill set. All right. So just like what Mr. Kim mentioned earlier, no one is an island, and therefore it's going to be impossible for you to do a certain job on your own. You need someone to work with. Okay. Number three, something that is also very important: professionalism and strong work ethic. So, what is professionalism? Professionalism, we all know professionalism. How are you going to divert your personal feelings? How are you going to remove your personal feelings, your biases towards your work and your profession? Okay, for example, I'm gonna give you an example. If ever that you're gonna be working with someone that you don't like, how are you going to feel about it? How are you going to work around that situation? Well, then professionalism will come in. All right. So, throughout your daily classes, activities, and work schedule, you have opportunities to continue developing your professional skills. These skills can be developed through simple tasks such as being punctual. Oh, yes, this is very important. And having a professional attitude. They also may be developed through more time consuming tasks. The more you consume time developing the skill, the better, because it is something that you're going to hone or master over time. Okay? Some of these tasks may include finishing your work in an efficient and timely manner. For example, if your boss is going to give you a deadline, you definitely need to work before the deadline and not cram a couple of hours before. Okay? When you were still you're still a student, this is how we usually do things, right? A lot of students will say, "Oh, stock knowledge lang yan." If it's today's the exam day, today lang din sila magre-review. Okay, well then that's not gonna work, or that's not gonna be effective if you are in the workplace. Okay, in a corporate world, you definitely need to be prepared, or else a lot of things, a lot of consequences will happen. People who practice strong work ethics are less likely to procrastinate the task. Okay, procrastination. Okay, there's a really a big battle between you and doing your task and procrastinating. All right, it's something that you need to develop on your own. It's a matter of discipline for me. And yeah, first to step up and take on a new task, of course, we'll learn a lot more, and definitely you will be recognized for your strong work ethic and professionalism. By having a professional attitude and strong work ethic, employers will be more interested in considering you for promotion. Of course, everyone wants that. Or if there's or if ever there's going to be a different role, new job, or positive outcomes will happen definitely. Especially if this certain company is doing performance based incentive, definitely your professionalism and strong work ethic will be highly considered for you to get that incentive. Okay, number four, oral and written communication skills. Now, not only the way you talk to others whenever you interact with them, also whenever you're sending emails. Okay, oral and written it goes hand in hand. Okay, so for example, now someone's gonna meet you in person, and they're gonna tell, oh wow, this person is such a nice person, but when it comes to email, he's so rude. Okay, so a lot of people might be confused with your communication skills. So it needs to go hand in hand. It needs to be on the same page. Now, in this technological day and age, shooting a quick text to your friends or your family may not include proper grammar, but in the workplace, it needs to be in. I know sometimes it's difficult for someone like you who used to type in shorter words. Like for example, where are you? It's just gonna be WRU, right? For some people. But if you're going to do that in a workplace, that's gonna be chaotic. Okay, it might cause some misunderstanding and confusion, and of course, it's not professional. So keep in mind, if ever that you're in a workplace, you definitely need to practice good oral and written communication skills. Now, another way for you to communicate, way your communication skills may decline is by the lack of face-to-face conversation. Now, a lot of jobs right now require hybrid work setting. Okay, or some of you guys might encounter work from home setup wherein you're just gonna be at home and you're just gonna be communicating with your colleague or teammates in a remote kind of setting. Now, this will actually deteriorate your communication skill in the long run. So, I highly suggest that if ever that you will be in this kind of situation or work setup, still try to communicate with them, talk to them, um, let's just say use video video calls. All right, turn on your cameras. All right, so you will practice eye contact. You're gonna talk to them more confidently, and of course your body language will be used to it as well, instead of just chatting and emails and typing things down. All right. While being proficient in digital technology is necessary for many careers, technology should not be used as the only means of communication. This reduces the quality of face-to-face conversation in the workplace as well. And you have to be very careful because, it deteriorates your relationship with that teammate of yours if you don't talk to them as often. If you're just gonna be sending them or shooting them a message, a quick text or an email, it's not gonna do the job. It's not gonna do or it's not gonna be enough for you to build relationship with them. Okay, so from time to time, try to do video calls if you are really in need of that, especially if you're just in a work from home setting. Okay, but if it's a hybrid kind of setup, if you do have time to be in the office with them, try to make use of that time to reconnect with them. All right. Okay, number five is leadership skills. Okay, now a lot of you might ask, how am I gonna get leadership skill if I don't have any job experience yet? Okay, I haven't tried being a supervisor yet. How am I gonna hone my leadership skills? Now, here's the thing. Even though you guys are, let's just say, newbies, you still can develop your leadership skills inside a classroom. You can be a leader during the group works, during the most likely if your school will allow you to participate in different organizations, you can still hone your leadership skills there, right? So you can highlight that leadership skill in your resume as well by, and of course during the interview, by telling them that you do have the skill and you learn that through some projects in school, some organizations that you're involved with. Okay, so find your leadership style. Once you identify your strength and what your standards for excellence are, you can begin to develop your leadership styles and the qualities that you do have. So the problem facing society and the planet clearly require new and innovative solutions to everything. All right. Now, addressing these challenges therefore requires different types of leadership. One that fosters creativity, collaboration, and transformation. Now, a lot of you will experience diverse kind of, uh, let's just say, diverse setup, or you will have to experience a scenario wherein you will definitely need to be stretched and you have to be flexible with your well said leadership skills. Now, you have to be creative, you need to collaborate with them, you have to be transformative. Why? Because just like what I mentioned earlier, we're now in a very diverse kind of setup. You can encounter work from home setup, you can encounter a hybrid setup, remote setting, and from there, your leadership skill will definitely be stretched. For example, how are you going to communicate with your 20 other colleague and you happen to be the leader if most of you guys will be working in a remote setup, right? That's going to be challenging for most of us. Okay, so you need to find a way on how you can connect with them, collaborate with them, be creative with them. Okay, all right, and number six, this is something that is also very important. Leading innovation goes beyond being creative or implementing new technologies. It requires conceptualizing a new idea and gearing it through to implementation. You're just not going to think about a new idea. You have to know how you're going to implement that certain idea. How are you going to deliver that same idea in teaching your colleagues how to do it? And of course, following it up in a holistic approach, you need strong and forward thinking leaders. Okay? Uh-huh. So that is something that attracts the talent acquisition team and the employers. Okay? Leadership innovation. Now let's go to the next one. Leadership and innovation. How are you going to develop that? First off, develop a clear vision. Do not fear change, and change is the only constant thing in this world. Okay, so if you were afraid of changes, well, then innovation is something you need to work on. Be a good communicator, be receptive to feedback, just like what the other speaker mentioned earlier. A lot of you guys are going to be afraid of feedback, but there's nothing to be afraid of. It's going to hurt a little bit at first. Actually, not a little bit. It's going to hurt a lot at first, but once you get used to it, you're just going to swallow it, and that's going to make you grow. Okay, and the last one is prioritize the value of teamwork. Just like what I mentioned earlier, no matter how good you are, no matter how skilled you can be, if you're not going to work with a team, it's going to be impossible for you to deliver a certain task. Okay, because teamwork is something we need in a workplace setup. The next one. This is something that I asked you guys to do earlier to identify your skills and strength and how you're going to do that. These are the ways on how you're going to discover your skills and how you're going to strengthen them. Number one, explore strengths and skills employers want. You were able to, you guys learned about the skills that the employers want, right? The leadership skills, the communication, the oral, the written communication skills, and etc. Ask others what they think you are good at. Okay, this is going to be like you're going to be asking for someone's own opinion of you. This is going to help you identify your skills and what are the things that you need to improve on. Most likely, be careful in doing this, however, given that you need to have someone with clear perspective of you, with good intention, and you have to filter some of it as well because let's just say not many people will be giving you what you need. Most of them will just be talking based on how they feel about you, not really because they know you're good at this or you're bad at this. Okay, so still be careful. Finding a mentor is really a must. It's going to help with number two. Okay, ask yourself what your interests are and what you like to do. Of course, it's very important that you know yourself. Think of a typical day and all the activities that you do within the day, and from there, you will know what are the things that you're good at. Think about what motivates you. Okay, it's not going to be automatically your strength if it's motivating for you, but it's going to be a good start. If it's something motivating or it's something interesting for you, well, then that's going to be a fuel in the fire that can help you improve yourself in that specific aspect. Okay. Now, how do we develop our skills? Okay, we learned about skills and where the necessary skills to improve. But what are the skills? How are we going to develop those skills? Number one, face your fears. This is what I mentioned to you at the very first part of this talk. That learning a new skill will be scary at first. For example, you're not used to speaking in front of many people, and they're asking you to talk or to do public speaking. Therefore, that's going to be really scary, right? Who among you here do have traumatic experiences working or talking in front of many people? Me personally, in my opinion, this is really really scary. When I was younger, um, My grade one teacher told me to speak in front and give a birthday message to someone, and I cried before I can even say happy birthday. Okay, so this is going to be something that you have to unlock. All right, face your fears. You will not grow if you're in your comfort zone. Okay, so it's good to be in your comfort zone. It's very comforting. You feel safe, and you might think that I can learn while being safe. Yes, but not as, let's just say, it's not etiquette. It's not going to be enough. All right, you're still going to be learning a lot more if you were afraid doing things. Okay, so face your fears. Number two is to read. Okay, reading a book is different from watching. Okay, okay. A lot of you might think, oh, I'm just gonna watch something on YouTube. That's just gonna be the same. Okay, I have nothing against that. It's just that reading is going to develop your brain differently than just watching. Okay, there's a study that says reading is going to help your brain develop clear understanding, comprehension, critical thinking, and many others. Okay, so read, like really read. Okay, learn something new. Okay, I can pretty much say that I'm doing a lot of learn something new. Every time I'm gonna check for something new to do, I ended up doing it only for the first few weeks, and then I'm gonna ditch that and switch to something else to do. Well, for my personal opinion, I think it's fine. Even though you're not gonna master a skill, or you're not gonna master it, but you're trying your best to learn something, it's okay. That's going to still stimulate your brain into, you know, being innovative or being creative. So why not? Number four, be open to feedback. Feedback will be coming from a lot of people. Now, being open to feedback is a good thing, but still remember, not all feedback is good for you. If you think that this person is just giving you this feedback because he has, let's just say, because of personal biases, well, then you have to filter that. But if you think that this person is a boss of yours or someone who cares for you and they're just giving you feedback, it might hurt a lot at first, but still just swallow it and try to make use of that as uh, for you to grow. Let's just say a plant that needs a fertilizer from time to time. Okay, connect with people, communicate with them, and from there, observe what they do. So maybe you can learn from them as well. Keep a journal. That is very important. Now, writing something on your journal on a daily basis. Actually, it doesn't have to be on a daily basis. Maybe on a weekly basis or bi-monthly or monthly. It doesn't matter as long as you're keeping a journal, so you can write down the things that you learned from that specific event that will help you remember in the future. And number seven, very important, find a mentor, someone who is there to guide you. All right. And whenever you're finding a mentor, for example, you can ask someone who's not a millionaire on how to be a millionaire. You understand that? So you definitely need to find a mentor who you think is already there in the pedestal. Well, not really someone who is recognized, but someone who you think who will help you because he or she experienced those things in the past and can give you some insights regarding the things that he or she experienced. But if you're just trying to find a mentor, which is very convenient, let's just say a friend of yours, or a friend of a friend of yours, or someone you know, or someone close with you, um, and you're just labeling that person to be a mentor because it's easy to just say you do have a mentor, well, then you're not going to be successful in learning something from them. Try to find a mentor that doesn't have any bias. Try to find a mentor who is from a different industry, or try to find a mentor who's in a different status or in a different level, so you can still learn a lot from them. Okay, and where to use the strengths and skills for your job search. Of course, we learned about your online resume and how you're going to utilize that online resume for your job application. You also need to make use of your strengths whenever you're doing the job application form. Okay, you will need to fill up some forms, and of course, you highlight that during the interview. Okay? You will need to be able to describe your strength to employers in a variety of ways. And lastly, for me, this is going to be the last part. There are no dreams too large, no innovation unimaginable, and no frontiers beyond our reach. Okay, so if you want it, you go get it. So thank you so much for listening to me. Once again, for VXI positions available, try to visit our website at www.jobs180.com/VXI. You can also do walk-in in some of our sites here in Makati, Panorama in Quezon City, Bridgetown, MOA, and our site in Davao. Once again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Roanne. Now, we are now opening the floor for questions. So, to our audience, if you have questions regarding the topic, top skills, companies to look for, so please feel free to post your questions in the comment section, and our speaker po will try to answer all your questions. So, we'd like to do a shout out also. Hindi lang po ICT-ED ang ating audience today. So, may mga Norsu. Ayan, from Norsu. Hello. Hello, guys. So, if you'd like to ask questions for regarding the topic, so please feel free to post your questions in the comment section, or if a little bit shy, so you can PM me the questions. Pero easier to read po kasi and to see your questions po if it's in the comment section. So ayan. So again, so Norsu, hello, welcome po. Ayan. And so while waiting for questions, Miss Roanne, so I'll be asking a few questions here na po muna. So first, for VXI po. As per the VXI standard, which of the said skills po the most important skill you look for in the recent candidates?
Hi, thank you. That's actually a really good question. First off, VXI is a company that will train you guys a lot. All right, we do have a very strong training team, and I can say that when it comes to skills that we're looking for, if you're willing to learn a new skill and you're not confident with your communication skills yet, VXI is here for you. So, number one, we are looking for a candidate with a strong communication skill, all right, and someone who's confident, someone who can step outside of the box and learn a new skill and be confident. Okay, for the leadership skill, we're also looking for leaders. We are hiring non-agent positions as well, so it's also very important for us. And of course, collaboration and teamwork. You're going to be working with a huge team. It's a big team, so it's very important that our candidates will have that skill set, working with a team, knowing how to collaborate and stuff like that.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Roanne. So another question, ma'am, is when do you think is the best time to discover and practice the skills?
When is the best time to discover? You need to discover your skills as earlier as possible. For example, just like what I mentioned earlier, if it's something that motivates you, okay, that's going to be your drive to improve. Okay, now a lot of people will say that I am good at doing this, but I'm not motivated doing it. Okay, and that is where the discipline is going to come. All right, so your question earlier is when, at the very earliest possible time, and then how are you going to develop them is, of course, first you're going to start with the discipline. Okay, you can't develop something that you will not be committed to. So be committed, identify your skill set, or something that you're motivated doing at the very first part of your career, or you can still identify your skill set along the way. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. So another question is for you, Miss Roanne, what is the best skill to learn in 2023 for this generation?
For this generation, active listening. This is something that I want a lot of people to know. Now, communication is easy to hone or easy to learn. You're just gonna consult someone, or you can actually learn from a communications coach, right? But active listening is something that you will need to practice on your own and by heart. When I say by heart, first off, learning how to empathize, learning how to sympathize with a person, especially if you're going to be working in a call center. company or BPO setup, not only in a call center setup or in the BPO industry. You also need to do active listening whenever you're communicating with your clients or your possible prospects or future clients and future clients or someone that you're pursuing. Active listening is the key. All right. Now, a lot of people like speaking, but not a lot of
Mhm.
people like listening. So that is something that a lot of employees or sorry, employers will definitely appreciate active listening. Thank you.
I agree po. Listening and hearing are two different things. So, merong nakikinig lang, yung iba hindi naman iniintindi. So, magkaiba yung
That is
nakikinig sa
right.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rowan, for answering that one. So, another question is, some fresh graduates po are quite scared and confused po because of they lack a certain skill po, which is needed for the position po. So, what makes a recent college graduate employable?
Mm, yeah, I do understand the fear because I was once a freshie before, of course, before we started with our current jobs right now. We got interviewed, and of course, we experienced a lot of hardships when we are still newbies in this industry. Now, one thing that I can say is just like what I mentioned earlier, it's okay to be scared. Being brave is not being scared. Okay. Being brave and being courageous is still doing the things that you must do, even though you're scared. All right. So if you're scared, you're going to be in an interview and you're scared. That's a positive thing. It means to say you're a normal human being. And now, given that many of them are asking how are they going to manage um, uh, let's just say improving their skills or identifying their skills at the very first part of their career. Number one, just be an open book. All right, not a lot of people will be like that. Most of them will be bragging about their skills, about their achievements. Okay. Now, one thing that I like about newbies, and one thing that we're really looking for if someone is a newbie, is if they are willing to learn. If they are willing to learn and they absorb things quickly and they are trying their best to still be confident even though they're scared, that's a big plus for us. Okay. No one needs to be really good at something at the very first part of their. So we truly do understand, and we can make room for improvements. And
All right, thank you so much, ma'am, for answering that one. So, for fresh graduates naman po, your advice, your tips po, what do they should look for in a company as a fresh grad?
they actually need to look for a company who's willing to hone their skills. So a company with a good training team, or a company that can provide a good training ground for them. That is going to be a green flag. All right, now how will you know that? If the company is willing to train you, of course, or if the company is going to exert effort training you. There are a lot of companies wherein bago pa mag-assessment, nagbibigay na sila ng coaching sessions. Uh-huh. And don't be afraid. Um, that is something that you need to take advantage of. If may companies kayo na in a plan and they're going to be giving you a mentoring or coaching before the assessment, because there are a lot of assessments out there, that's going to be uh, a good company.
Mm. Alright, and for the ano po, the job seekers, so they're ano po, curious if you're offering po trainings to the newbies.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, we do have a lot of trainings available, not only the product trainings that will definitely happen once you get hired, but we are also open to training you before you even get hired. We do have a program wherein it's going to help you enhance your communication, your language skills. We do
Mm.
have the lead training here that will help you develop your language skills or communication skills before you can even jump. So it's for free, and they don't need to worry about um, building their confidence at the very beginning.
Alright, so that's great to know po. So thank you so much, Mr. Juan. I think no more questions from the audience. So before you leave backstage po, do you have final words for the graduating students, your tips and advice po, or if you'd like to promote your vacancies po?
Yeah, sure. Once again, guys, thank you for um, having me here. For other vacancies, you can always visit our website, www.jobs180.com/VXI. We do have agent and non-agent positions available. Thank you, guys, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Miss Roan. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your time and your knowledge for this session. So we wish to have you on our next set of webinars. So thank you so much, Miss Roan. So okay, so there you have it, guys. We are done with the talk proper and successfully tackled all the topics assigned for today's session. So to our audience, thank you so much to ICT-ED and to Norsu. Again, sa may mga Norsu audience tayo, thank you so much for staying and we hope you learned and enjoyed the session. If you still have questions, so you may send us a message sa aming Facebook Messenger or Facebook page. It's facebook.com/shops180.com. So that's it. And to officially close our program, may we invite Ms. Vina N. Mendoza, the Director for Academic Affairs, to give us the closing remarks. Ms.
Uh,
Vina?
Yes, good morning po. Okay, dear ICT agents, as we conclude the day one of our career week, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who participated and made this event a success. I also want to extend my sincere appreciation to our partner for the day one event, Jobs180.com, for hosting a wonderful webinar and providing valuable insights and tips on job placement and recruitment. Throughout the day, we have heard from various industry experts and professionals who have shared their experiences and knowledge with us. We hope that their insights have provided you with a better understanding of the career landscape and equip you with the necessary skills and tools to succeed in your chosen field. As you embark on the next chapter of your lives, I encourage you to use the knowledge and skills you have gained throughout your education and apply them in your careers. Always remember that learning is a continuous process and that you should never stop striving for your self improvement. Lastly, I would like to congratulate all of you for reaching this significant milestone in your life. We are proud of all that you have accomplished, and we will look forward to hearing about your future successes. Thank you once again to everyone who made this day one possible. We wish you all the best in your future endeavor.
Thank you so much, Miss Vina. Thank you so much ma'am, for gracing the event. And again, thank you po for Trust Jobs 180 to power your events. And of course to Sir Romel, the school president po of ICT. And thank you so much, sir. So we we hope to more collaborations po with ICT. And so thank you so much, Sir Romel and Miss Vina. So again to our audience, thank you so much. And please do not forget to evaluate this event. So we'll be flashing the link. So this will be also available at the comment section. So again, to secure your attendance, kindly fill out the form. So this will serve as your attendance for today's session. This is only up until this afternoon. So please again kindly evaluate this event so to secure your attendance. And of course, we would like to thank each one of you guys for staying all throughout the event. We hope that the webinar helps you be prepared in the world of work. And we would like to thank again ICT Ed and of course Norsu again for watching. Thank you so much. So please watch out for the next set of webinars we are going to host for. So please check our Facebook page for the topics that will be discussed. And you are welcome guys to join in on those sessions too. So if you missed this webinar, you may rewatch it. You may rewatch the recorded vids on our Facebook and YouTube page. So if you'd like to know more, again visit our Facebook page. Okay. So the program is finally concluded. This is your host, Joyce Kataputan. We will see you soon and have a great afternoon. Ingat everyone. Thank you.